Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Law Firm Marketing Hacks Podcast. Today, we are going to talk about the core fundamentals of marketing. And if you understand these two concepts, then marketing your law firm gets really, really, really easy. But the problem is most lawyers don't understand these two very simple, very basic concepts. And once you hear them, it's kind of like everything kind of clicks and it just makes everything so much better. So I'm going to go over what they are and how to implement them right after this.
You're not just a lawyer, you're a defender of the defenseless. You possess a license that allows you to fight for those who can't fight for themselves. But while you're fighting for others, who's watching out for you? For far too long, lawyers have been fed line after line by big marketing companies, promising the world and delivering nothing. And even worse, think of all the people you were unable to help just because they didn't know you existed. That ends today. It's time to take the power back. This podcast will teach you how law firm marketing really works, how to not only get more clients, but how to get your dream clients, how to save time, how to save money, how to save energy by only focusing on tactics that work so you can grow your firm and help more people, and how to never get screwed by a marketing company ever again. My name is Andy Stickel, and I've helped thousands of lawyers, and I can help you too. This is the Law Firm Marketing Hacks Podcast.
Okay, so marketing really comes down to two core fundamental things. And really, the biggest thing that the biggest mistake that I see most law firms making when they're doing their marketing, and I also, it's not just law firms either. I see marketing companies do this all the time as well, because while these two fundamental elements are so simple, most people just don't even think about them. And I think about this all the time when I look at billboards. I see cars driving, or I see buses, I see TV ads. I see all this stuff where the fundamentals of what you need to get somebody to pay attention to you are just completely missed. And it kind of drives me crazy. So when you're doing your marketing, whether you're working on your website, whether you're doing a radio ad, a TV ad, a Facebook ad, a YouTube video, a Facebook post, whatever you're doing, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what the application is. The two things that you need to think about before you do anything are always, who are you serving and what do they want? Those are the only two things you need to follow, you need to think about. Because if you can be very specific about who you're serving, and then you figure out that group of people, what is it that they actually want, then you can lead with that type of stuff and get their attention. Think about it this way. And I use this example all the time. Whenever I go to a restaurant, let's say I go to Chili's, right? They have a menu that is full of items. On that menu, there's, quesadillas and cheeseburgers and fried chicken and salads and then they have like a bunch of sides. You can have some healthy options. You can have steamed salmon and vegetables, or you can just you can skip the steamed salmon. You can just have a big bowl of vegetables if you want to. You can really get whatever you want. But what do most people get? Most people get the food that's not good for them. But if you would ask like a doctor or a nutritionist and said, based on this menu here, what is it that these people really need to be eating? It would probably be the big bowl of broccoli, the steamed broccoli, or the steamed vegetables and, chicken and or steamed salmon or grilled salmon, something like that. But the point is that what people want and what people need are two completely different things. So if you figure out what people want and then you present that to them as either a solution or you help them solve problems that will eventually lead to the thing that they want, then they're going to pay attention to you. It's the simplest form of marketing. It's really, really simple. And that's why I'm such a big fan of picking niches when you're trying to create content, because when you can speak to a specific niche, it makes it a lot easier than if you're just trying to talk to everybody. So, for example, if you're a family law attorney, and here's the other thing, you don't have to be exclusive to this, but what I think you can do is your different advertisements and your different messages that you're putting out should be directed to somebody, not just to everybody. So if you're a family law attorney and you're talking to everyone, that's not as specific as saying, hey, fathers, here's how you can get more time with your kids. Or, hey, mothers, here's how you can make sure that your kids, if you go through a divorce, here's how you can make sure that your kids are not alienated and that they don't have, psychologically they're not broken for the rest of their lives. You can create that content specific to things that people actually want. It's really interesting. I was talking to a family law attorney in New York. I think he was in Long Island, and we were talking about targeting fathers. But not even fathers. We were talking about men who are first responders, so men who are firefighters, police officers, who are going through a divorce or dealing with a child custody issue. And I asked him, what is it that these guys really want? And he said, believe it or not, the number one thing that they want, that I hear over and over and over and over and over again, more than keeping the house, more than time with the kids, more than keeping the car, more than anything, is they want to make sure that they keep their pension and that their ex doesn't get their pension. That's the main thing that they want. And now that he knows that, he can create all this content that's talking to them or create ads that's speaking directly to first responders who don't want to lose their pension, who want to make sure that they keep their pension. And because he knows that, he can kind of put that in front of them. And he can show them, he can say, one of the things that he can just lead with that. That's one of the really important things. So another example, bankruptcy attorneys. Nobody wants to file for bankruptcy. What they want is they want to have peace of mind. They want to, probably have an affordable payment. They want to get rid of as much debt as possible. They're probably tired of driving a piece of crap car because they can't get financing for a good car. They're tired of living in an apartment or living in a crappy house. They could be, if they're married, it could be a situation where, and you're speaking to men, it could be a situation where most, it may be a common complaint you hear. And I know this just because I was working with some mortgage brokers for a while. One of the biggest things is that a lot of people were saying, a common complaint was, my wife is saying she hates our kitchen and I can't buy a new house because I don't have good credit. So how do you fix the credit? Well, I can help you fix the credit, but you don't want to advertise the bankruptcy. You want to advertise, what do they want? I am a banker, you've got all this debt, you've got horrible credit. I can help you fix all that so that one day you can buy a new house. So that one day you can, get a nice car and you can fix your credit. And immediately I can get bill collectors to stop calling. I can, get all of your payments into an affordable payment that you can afford, one monthly payment that you can afford, instead of just making the minimum payment on 37 different credit cards and not making any progress whatsoever and just feeling like, you're just treading water waiting to go under. It's all about your messaging. It's all about just figuring out who is it that you're serving and what do they want. We have a personal injury attorney who we work with. We've worked with for several years now. We still work with him. And he wanted to get traumatic brain injury cases. So we said, okay, who are we actually going to be serving? Meaning who is our messaging going to be targeting? And what we kind of came up with is we're not going to target traumatic brain injury victims, but instead we're going to target the family members of traumatic brain injury victims. And what is it that they want? Do they want these big piles of cash?